Hey there, Pisces. This is Seven Scorpion Tarot, and I want to welcome you to tonight's reading. So, tonight we are continuing on the hero's journey. I'm kind of modifying Christopher Vogler's ordinary world stage tonight to the dystopian world. I'm upset about a few things. So, we're going to talk about them. And so, the things I want to get into tonight, just because it kind of just happened to link up with where I was in this reading series of exploring the major arcana or the hero's journey by way of the major arcana. Um, this TikTok thing happened, and so this is going to get political. It is my channel, not sorry, and there's probably going to be some language. Just saying. Uh, you know, when the oracle has a message, she's got to say what she's got to say. Uh, I don't like to focus so much on the politics here, but it is what it is. When it comes up, it comes up. And I think it's really important to talk about and to not shy away from, to not create these dichotomies between things and act like I don't live in a country with a political system. So I saw well, let me back up a little bit in regards to the ordinary world. So that's going to be the first stage of the hero's journey, of like in a movie where you would see it just opening and kind of establishing the premise, the background, and whatnot. We are in a dystopian cycle. So that's why I'm doing the dystopian world instead of the ordinary world. And when I first started kind of noodling on this idea, I tried linking up Christopher Vogler's 12 stages, condensed from Joseph Campbell's like 17 or whatever, um, starting with Aries. And that didn't quite work with the archetypes of the zodiac and what those signs represent and how they connect to the major and minor arcana. But if you rotate the zodiac wheel and start in the ordinary world with Pisces, and then the next one up, I mean, we'll get to that when I do the next video, but um, yeah, it just wasn't quite right starting it right there with Aries. Aries fit much better in a different stage, as did the others. But once you like rotate that wheel, it did fit with those condensed 12 stages and the archetypes and whatnot. So I'm having a fun time exploring that. And I got a condensed or a used version um, of the writer's journey on Amazon for like $10. Um, and I was really excited to see that the chapter cover art, they're like tarot cards, is what they look like. So I thought that was really, really synchronous. So I'm excited to explore this idea further. And I'm still mad. I'm mad about what's going on with free speech, and I'm scared about it. Uh, so I saw that first message, the first splash page, when TikTok went dark. And it said, like, the app is offline. Um, and there was a second blurb in there, something about like we're working with incoming President Trump to work out a deal or whatever. And I was like, okay, TikTok's offline, whatever. Starting to think about what reels I could make or shorts on here, like whatever, something to replace some like little short form nuggets, whatever. And I saw a second um, splash page because I saw something on Threads that I can't verify. So I'm not holding my breath that it's true, but that like Meta had bought TikTok. I think had that actually occurred, that would be some sort of monopoly um, thingamabob, like the grocery store thing that just failed, like Kroger and Albertsons or whatever. It'd be something like that. So I don't think that's true. But it had a second blurb that said, like, the app is all offline. Please try your call again later. Whatever it said. And I'm drinking out of my Death Star mug for a reason. But then after the app came magically, very quickly, back online today, there was a third splash page. And it said, like, thanks to the efforts of President Trump, TikTok is back online. That sent a chill straight down my spine. And yes, I know it rhymed. Um, oof, like, oh my God. Like, I was in disbelief when January 6th happened. I thought I was in the twilight zone today. I actually audibly said, is this real? And remember, anybody who has been watching my videos previously, I have post traumatic stress disorder with seizures. I'm like, did I short out? Am I hallucinating? What's going on? Like, I don't know what's happening. Um, but I could still touch all my fingers, touch all my toes, like, unless this is a really, 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 really long hallucination. Pretty sure that actually happened right in front of my face. An actual direct shot by our own government at free speech in the cold light of day, right in front of our faces, right in front of our faces. Like, I've been seeing all this stuff about, uh, what's it? Oh, there's a distraction, there's like hidden stuff, there's blah, 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 blah. This is not hiding. This is right in front of your face. They're doing it right in front of your face. They just took a straight shot at free speech. And the Supreme Court condoned it. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. Don't kid yourself. Stop being naive. Stop being ignorant. Stop being arrogant. It is right in front of your face. Oh my God. Like, we talked about this 200 years ago. Item number one was free speech. This is the most concerning thing I've seen happen, maybe ever, potentially. Because think of all the things that you can get upset about being treated, that you could go into different pockets of different demographics of, like, these people have it worse, this situation is worse, and so on and so forth. Like, what does any of that matter if you can't talk about it? If you can be arrested for criticizing, like, that's where we're headed. Like, the reason we have the First Amendment is so that you cannot be arrested for criticizing the government. That's the point. I couldn't be more upset about this. But in interest of looking on the bright side, I cannot think of a more poignant way to honor the memory of Dr. King. Because I'm recording this the night before Martin Luther King Day. and I'll be posting it in the morning. And I may not be as eloquent as he was, taken from us too soon. Um, but I believe wholeheartedly he'd have something to say about this. Wholeheartedly, I believe that. I don't think he would mince his words, so I'm not going to either. Um, there's going to be a lot of things that are distractions as of the inauguration. First and foremost is the unofficial president that's hanging out behind who actually got elected. Leave that to lawyers. That's a lawyer problem. Leave that to them. That actually is a distraction. Um, this is the time to speak up, speak your truth while you still can, while you still have the right to. There is never going to be a more critical moment than right now, because the arguments of who should and should not have an office in the White House after not actually getting elected, that does not yet have a legal precedent. It upsets me that it needs one, but that's the system we live in. The system we live in, item number one is we have free speech. And we have to have the ability to exercise that right. It's not enough to simply say, sure, here's a right. Okay, how do I enact that right? I have to be able to do something with that right that was mine in the first place. It was never yours to give me. This is not a time for harm. This is not a time to take up the fist where the pen will do. This is the right ear representatives. This is the utilize your own platforms to say what you believe in unapologetically. And if those are too direct, if it's unsafe for you to do so, the antidote to propaganda is art. We need more of that, whatever form that takes for you. Because propaganda is designed to deceive, and art tells the truth. So sing your songs, paint your paintings, write your poems. We don't have to take this lying down. Nobody has to get hurt. Nobody has to get hurt. But this deserves a discussion in the cold light of day. If they're going to take an action against us, the American people, like that, it at least deserves a response in the cold light of day through the appropriate channels, through everything our founding fathers believed in. This is the fight. It doesn't get any more real than this. Just because there isn't a robot knocking down your door doesn't mean it's any less dystopian. Rant over. And in the worst of segues, worst segue in the entire world, we have the Hanged Man. This is the major Arcana card that the Pisces card. That's what I was getting at. And I think really appropriate because it's a change of perspective. You are really seeing things like potentially for the way that they are. Actually, the other Hanged Man card that's coming to mind is the Wild Unknown, where it's a bat that's hanging upside down. And the interesting thing is, like, a bat needs to hang upside down so they can take flight. because they're not hollow boned like birds are. So they can't like lift off. They have to sort of like take a leap of faith, but it's more like a fall of faith and just let go. And then they take flight. So I wanted to do another significator reading. So we'll get into the root of self, the personal shadow, the collective unconscious, and then the ego and the persona, as we've done with those longer readings. I'm gonna just kind of go from there, and see how we do. Thanks for anybody who remains after my rant. And like, even though I've got a little baby platform here, I was just talking to my therapist, like, if one person takes something positive from what I'm jibber jabbering about, then I'm a net positive in the world. Like, it's not an excuse for me to just like sit on my butt, but it helps me feel good about just what I'm bringing to the world, that I'm not just slogging away at like, let's circle back, like, have synergy, living my life via email just to pay for the apartment I work from. I just feel like I'm living in a hamster cage some days. But let's see what's at the root of self. So, I mean, I know what's turned my world upside down today, but maybe we can pick up on something deeper, what might be going on. Because that's more at the macro level, what I was talking about. So maybe we can get some insight into the micro perspective. Oh, and the other message from the Oracle is that punk rock is back. We all need it. Okay, so illusions, 7 of Cups. Ooh, and another 7 of Swords. Illusion and deception. Oh, stop. Why so on the nose? I think that's pretty poignant. Uh, that definitely seems like a reflection of what I'm dealing with right now, but maybe you are too, because this could be any number of things in your life that when you have some sort of situation that involves illusion and deception, it's going to mix up your perspective. And you can read that a couple of ways. Because after the ordinary world, or the dystopian world in this case, comes the call to adventure. And you can pull that down into like the personal psyche level of the example that came to mind here was gaslighting. So if someone is gaslighting you on an individual level, then the next step would be that call to adventure. The like, you've had that realization that you're being manipulated. Now what do you do? In the example that I started out at the beginning with, the options are a little bit more limited, just in a like, you email your representative and you send it off and then you go about your day. So it gives you an opportunity to like put that on the shelf and kind of put it away, and like, I can be mindful about what I'm doom scrolling to practice some detachment from me and that macro view of the world. On a more personal level, it's a little harder to back away from those situations, especially if you're in a Seven of Swords situation where somebody's trying to take something from you. I don't know what that something is, but swords is the mind. The, gosh dang it, what's that phrase? The pen is mightier than sword. Isn't that a Shakespeare thing? Was that? I think it was. I don't know. But is this, and we can just lean into the macro perspective. Is someone trying to take these ideas out of your head that, no, 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 this is fine, pick a different cup, of, if we remove these swords, you don't have as many resources in your mind to counteract illusion, to cut through illusion, because you won't be as sharp. But this crow's looking at the laurel crown. Somebody resting on their laurels? Is that what the hanged bird can see? Is there maybe a lackadays attitude or something? Like thinking, we won't email our representatives? Like, we won't, like, I don't know. The thing I was thinking about earlier was like, with the whole Supreme Court being handpicked by the person that was just all over those splash pages, like, isn't this covered in like every conflict of interest training in every office ever? Like, come on. I would be fired in a heartbeat if I did something like this. Stupid. I'm gonna start shuffling for the shadow, do the personal shadow, personal unconscious. But that's interesting. Out of all the options that Crow has to take a gander at, you're looking straight at the crown. Eye on the prize. Eye on the freaking prize. Ooh. Ooh, 3. Wow. The devil. And I've always loved this devil card. So cool. And is that a little, looks like a little chickadee or something? Chained up to the crow. The Hierophant and the Eight of Swords. This is really heavy. I mean, I introduced a lot of heavy energy at the beginning, so that might be my fault. Um, and the Hierophant has the key, maybe the key to set this little one free. Why am I rhyming so much? um, but these two crows are looking at each other, not at the Hierophant that's got the wing up. Hmm. There's something like a self-imposed belief, or self-limiting belief that's stopping this little bird from taking flight. Because this is all like really big energy. But it's like this little bird is trying to get away. Are they trying to go get help? Like go get people like them? Because these are all crows except for this one bird. And this is in the shadow. Maybe some fear of asking for help, of like the devil's like looming right above this little bird. So that's a precarious position to be in. But it's interesting, like all five crows are not really like these two are looking at each other, but we've got a blindfold. This one's got their face covered by a skull, and this one's like looking out at a crowd. So the this little guy or gal or they them whomever um they can get away. It just feels like they can't because like there's a key over here, but this chain is just being stepped on. It's not actually locked. Hmm. And it kind of looks in the distance here. Like this is like a dock, but this kind of looks like the Two of Wands. So like looking out towards a new journey. Hmm. So I think in the shadow there's just a lot of fear and not like unfounded fear, but I don't know. It's like fortune favors the bold. Like just make a break for it. I don't know. Like whatever situation you may be in, afraid to speak up if it's safe to do so. If nobody like is gonna get you, like they're not paying attention to this little bird. Like run away, and that's like I'll start shuffling for the collective unconscious. Um, but the first rule of self defense is escape. GTFO. Standing and fighting is a last resort. And if it's a first resort, that's your ego. That's bad. Exit the building. And especially for this little bird, being outnumbered by five crows, like, bail, dude. Like, when you get an opportunity, like, go for it. And I mean, we're already in the macro view. So maybe whatever card I get for the collective unconscious will see what's on other people's minds, will drag me out of my own micro view. Pardon me. These little collar mics don't have a mute button. Oop. Man, we're just going for threes. 333. So we've got Queen of Cups in reverse, Strength upright, and the Emperor in reverse. So in the Rider Waite, she has, there's a lid on her cup. There is no lid here, but it's covered by feathers. You can see that. So it's like, yes, there's a covering on it, but it's not super secure. So she's holding her emotions in, barely. Same. Samesies. And strength and Leo energy for sure. Lion. Let's see. It almost looks like that crow's foot is in the lion's eye. And that kind of goes back to, well, not kind of, it does go back to this theme of obscured vision. And this could almost be like drawing attention or something, like drawing attention somewhere else. Because even if the crow's foot is not actually in the lion's eye, the lion's attention is being drawn towards the crow. And there's no other little friends around here. But I think the theme stands. And then the emperor, the false king, just came to mind. And a little ominous. Uh, 4 feathers. Well, card 4. Those storm clouds. This reminds me, like, definitely on this right side, tower vibes for sure. And I mean, that would be Aries energy, like Aries, Emperor Tower. Um, in the Rider Waite, you typically see bracers on the Emperor's shins. Here, the crow is standing on a sword. I think this one came out reversed too. Yeah. But the crow is standing on a sword, so that's pointing back to the mind. So a lot of mental energy here in the collective unconscious. And oof, given what's going on tomorrow, depending on what side of the aisle that you're on, I imagine if you're watching a tarot channel, we're fairly aligned. um, you might be bitter, like I am, about the false king. Um, yeah, I don't want to get too far into that. that's the that's the stuff I'll just leave off. That's just my personal opinions. Because like that rant at the beginning, and I'll start shuffling for the ego. That's me standing on business about a law. Like that doesn't. It's not relevant to my political leanings as to whether or not I believe in that specifically. In standing up for the First Amendment, like that's a really heavy duty core value that I believe in really, really, really strongly. Um, I mean, I know this doesn't make logistical sense, but as far as I'm concerned, like we could have covered like item 1 and then we're done. There's the rhyming again. This is really abnormal for me. I'm not a rhymer. When I write poems, they typically do not rhyme. Maybe I'm just in a Seussian mood. I don't know. Two. Okay. Something's coming down. Maybe it's my agitation. Never. Nine of Cups in reverse and King of Swords reversed. So a wish fulfillment blocked. The false king. This is like the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords in reverse is like my malignant narcissist card. Like this is somebody who means harm, like harm for sure. This is not somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. This is somebody who absolutely 100% knows what they're doing in a big way because I'm like 99% sure that's Jupiter, the symbol for Jupiter. Show the camera there. I've got 5 feathers. And this is in the ego. We might be feeling a bruised ego right now. Just to go back to what's happening on that, nationwide scale tomorrow. Uh, my ego's bruised. You know, I still really enjoy the T-shirt I got ahead of the results. It's like a nun holding a cat, but the nun is smoking, and it said like childless cat lady, miserable and voting. I still love that T-shirt. I'm gonna wear it as long as the design lasts for sure. I didn't vote in the interest of a T-shirt though. Like whatever. Things go the way they go, you know. Uh, in the interest of free speech, that's what you do when you're voting. I mean, you're exercising your free speech. I'm not. I may not agree with how it turned out. I might be shocked and appalled. And I will defend people's right to vote and people's right to free speech till the day I die, even if I don't agree with them. It's just what I believe in. So I'll start uh, shuffling for the persona, and that's the most outer edge of the ego space, that external mask that we show the world. This might actually make a very good dystopian hero's journey exploration to people who are more apt at storytelling than me. Ooh. And 2, interesting. So we got 3s and 2s. So 3s in the shadow, 2s on the ego side. My numerology peeps. That means anything to you. So Temperance and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Both in reverse. So out of patience is how I would read that. Very fitting for my rant. uh, and the nice thing about ranting on my own channel is that you can just turn the channel. Like you can change the channel if you don't dig it. It's all good. No hard feelings. So the 5 of Pentacles, there are only 2 figures in the Rider-Waite, but there are 5 total here. And these 2 are separated from the 3 that are like safe And this definitely is like giving me the haves and the have-nots, like the plebs and the upper class. Um, but like these little guys, they look sad and like they're, kind of waddling off away from the tree that has plenty of room for them. Plenty of room. Maybe not at like the tippy top, but there's still room. So maybe you are out of patience for not being given your space at the tree or the table since we're people. Or you can hang out in a tree, like whatever. I'm not here to judge. Um, let's get, because I think that was pretty straightforward there. Is just the persona side is kind of had it. Doesn't like the existing structure, the way things are going. And it might even be back to that like have and have nots, pulling resources down from the top to the bottom. However, you interpret that. Um, and you can interpret that on that micro level too. Like, we don't have to stick with my example. Uh, that could be like a work thing, like just in your work. Like, you're not getting your fair share. You use the power of the pen to draft an excellent email on why you deserve a raise, and then you get it. Like, you finally lost patience. You finally, you know, waited long enough for your pentacle, and then you held out your hand and said, "Where's mine? Give me." So let's give one of these guys. And this is the corresponding um, oracle deck, the Urban Crow. Observation. Okay. So maybe a little hanging back. Let the temper cool, after seeing something that changed your perspective. Maybe we need to practice some detachment, take a step back, and just watch. Let things play out before responding, reacting, so on and so forth. Again, if possible, if safe to do so. Um, yeah, because there's another crow coming in the distance. So maybe while you're waiting, like if you just hold the line, like you send your email and then just wait for your pentacle, wait for that raise to come in or whatever the situation is for you. Wait for your little snack to make its way over to you. Empress energy, like be receptive. That might be the strategy here, because I know I've made there isn't a single situation I can't make worse. And it's typically for me talking. um, but it's talking when I'm mad, like when I'm actively angry. Like, it is perfectly valid, perfectly okay to be angry. Maybe hold off on the discussion whilst in the throes of it. just just saying from personal experience. Not that I've ever bitten anybody's head off. Um, we'll get a rune too. We'll see. Maybe something, a symbol to carry with us for a lesson, for strength, for something. Guidance. And this is, I just unwrapped this today. There's both colors, and it's got explanations. Like I have a Rider-Waite deck in English and Spanish. Oh, we got more than one, two. But I got one in English and Spanish. And with the Spanish one, I was like, I have the English one. I'll get the Spanish one. I'll learn the words, which was very ambitious for someone on Unit 2 of Duolingo. The high school Spanish lessons did not cover tarot. So we've got Yara and oh shoot, how do you pronounce this? Thurs. It's for Thursday. It's Thors. Um, I think it's Thors. Might be right. Well, it says the hammer, so I'm going with that. Symbol: the thorn, the hammer. Interpretation: this rune represents the small trials dedicated to the god Thor. Oh yeah, I remember things sometimes. Um, it contains the double polarity of life and death. Ooh, and we got a card of each color. There's nothing like different between the two colors. It would be really tough to shuffle if I didn't leave both colors in there. So I'm kind of reading this as like a ego shadow, like sun moon sort of thing. So Yara, this is like the reward. I think the harvest, justice, interpretation, growth, fertility, rebirth. This rune announces the end of a cycle of difficulties and the beginning of a positive period. Okay, so transition. We're transitioning out. This is pretty heavy. So maybe this next transition, because this is talking about life and death, and this is talking about the end of a cycle and beginning, so life and death. Lost my train of thought. Completely lost my train of thought. Oh, maybe this is like, are we accepting the call or are we refusing the call? Like, I guess I'm going with that, like accepting the call, refusing the call. This is the gift. This is the hammer. Um, uh, so maybe there's still a decision to be made here that like you're still in this observation mode of, okay, I have the information. I'm unhappy about the information. What do I do with the information? Excellent question. That one, you're going to have to decide what's right for you. Um, I'll probably just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You know, I've utilized my massive platform to make my voice known, make my feelings known. I think that's my part. Okay. We're going with these bottom two since those just fell out of my hand. Uh, but I think knowing your limits too is an important thing to be cognizant of when you are engaging in activism of like you have a life to live. And yes, get fired up. I love it. That's an amazing thing to have in your heart, to care enough to put a sign together, to march, to do whatever it is you do to make your voice known. And take care of yourself too. Like, I live with chronic illness. I work. I have all sorts of different things that I need to do. This this is me doing something, even though it's not me hitting the streets. It's me hitting the airwaves. It's me hitting the airwaves with my voice. And I'm pretty sure, at least out of the like, I think I have like 40 followers between this, Instagram, and TikTok, like between those. And I'm pretty sure at least a few of them are real. So maybe someone will hear this message. Maybe they won't. I don't know. The only thing I can do is speak. I can't make anybody listen. So, but for self care, music, music. That is definitely what I'll be doing. I'll be listening to heavy metal, punk rock, all of the good things. So I've got The Gray by Bad Omens and Pisces by Ginger. So maybe those songs have um, something in the lyrics for you. I really, really enjoy both of these music videos, and definitely the live session that's got like a billion views or whatever on YouTube that everybody reacts to is the one to watch for Ginger for sure. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.